What's up, you guys? Welcome to the June 1st edition of NBA 3-Ball presented by Establish the Run. I'm your host, Mike Gallagher, getting ready to preview the 3-game slate on Tuesday, and it should be a really fun slate. We've got a lot to talk about. Going to get right into it and start with the news / the preview side with the Lakers and Anthony Davis. We got some more details here. We know he did not return from that groin strain, and he is going to be listed as questionable after an MRI confirmed a groin strain. So that means the groin strain showed up in the MRI. Could mean a grade 1. If it's a grade 2, he's done. So early reports are he's unlikely for Game 5, which is not surprising. Usually this type of injury is a week or so. So I think he's probably out. That's me guessing. But also of note, Frank Vogel said after the game that he was laboring from that knee injury and he didn't really look right. And he didn't look right early in the game. He wasn't really as aggressive. So kind of makes sense there. And yeah, you hate to see a guy dealing with two leg / upper leg / hip / groin injury. That's not great. So that's going to be a lot of things for the Lakers. Obviously, you start with LeBron James. And this team's just so bad without him on the court. He has to play a lot. And as you'd expect, his per 36 stats spike without AD, scoring at about 30 points per 36, both in the regular season, last regular season, and in the playoffs, hanging around 9 assists per 36. Again, that's per 36, so he's going to be way past that per 36 number. So certainly big upside. He's not the same, though. This isn't the guy, LeBron, who can just drive down your throat every game. He hasn't been that effective. He's been shooting a lot of jumpers. Still think that he's going to see a little bit more Jay Crowder. That's fine. Mikal Bridges to Jay Crowder is a little bit of a downgrade because he's just so much stronger than Bridges is, but I still think he could just have a huge game. He has to have a huge game. So then you ask yourself, who's going to start? Initially, you would think Kyle Kuzma, right? Started the second half. Makes sense. Bring him out there. He's been playing pretty good defense for them. They need the offense, need the shooting. But Markieff Morris said today, he tweeted out opportunity, and we know Frank Vogel said they want more size out there to throw more bodies at DeAndre Ayton. So you think Morris got a pretty good shot to start. We saw him start previously when AD was hurt, so I think he makes a lot of sense. You got the revenge factor as well, but I still think Kuzma is going to be likely to close. Morris would have to play really, really well. And then also we know the centers are going to have to play a bunch. Marc Gasol basically picked up most of the minutes. We saw Andre Drummond really kind of go away after his third quarter stint. Didn't play in the final quarter and a half of this game. As Gasol's been clearly the better defender on DeAndre Ayton. So maybe they switch that up there. I don't think so. I think they really want to start Drummond and kind of challenge him there. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see Marc Gasol supplant Drummond. He's been pretty bad, especially defensively. So, we know those guys will really step up. Dennis Schroeder doesn't really have great stats without AD, but just from the usage standpoint, you would assume he has to be better. Certainly we'll see a lot of Chris Paul here as well. Suns, really nothing new to talk about. We know Chris Paul with the hell no comment that he was going to play, and limited in the limited practice they had today, so he should be fine. Time's definitely on his side, and the Suns starters have been really freaking good. They've been the best defense in the playoffs among the 8 lineups with 48-plus minutes and 94.8 defensive rating. They've been just marvelous at limiting the Lakers. So that's really been key. They were not great coming into the playoffs, so they've really flipped the switch. They've been running out in transition. They're getting a lot of assisted buckets, 64%. That's top among playoff teams. Lakers are the worst in assist-to-turnover ratio, helping the Suns generate some of that transition offense. So Booker's kind of leaned on that jumper more. Don't like to see that. I like to see him get to the paint. So he's kind of down. Obviously, Chris Paul ramping up with that 20 usage rate as well. Certainly cuts into Booker here, but DeAndre Ayton, 17 paint touches per game. They really want to get this guy going, and they should. And also Jay Crowder really bounced back, so those guys should have plenty of leash. We know Crowder will be a key defensive factor, especially with so much LeBron going into this one. Previewing the Nets-Celtics game, should be a blowout in my opinion, but we saw Brad Stevens said he really wants his defense to kind of be in that shell defense and just kind of live with guys beating on them. Talked about getting, quote, invaluable experience for the young guys, Romeo Langford, Aaron Nesmith. Took a little bit of playing time away from Evan Fournier. Pritchard also picked up some run over Romeo. We know they really like Pritchard for additional ball handling. But really, obviously, Jason Tatum is just everything right now. Not getting any open looks. Just 1.6 of his 20.6 shots have been wide open attempts. He's just getting defended. He's making a lot of them. Only 2.3 catch and shoot attempts per game, so it's all on-ball dribble stuff. Going to have a really tough path to going off, but hey, he's done the last 2 games. No reason to doubt him now with Kemba Walker still unlikely. Time Lord also still unlikely to play here. So see a little bit of Tristan Thompson. Hopefully have a longer leash. But I just don't see how this team has any chance to stop this Nets team. Nets have a playoff high 131.60 rating, 117 in just half court. That's absurd. This team can't be stopped right now, so certainly expecting a pretty big blowout for the Celtics. And yeah, maybe we see some garbage time. Maybe Fournier gets cut down. It's really tough to lean on them. Should add Marcus Smart. Has been pretty good in minutes with Tatum, without Kemba in the playoffs. So definitely a guy at 25, 5 and 9 per 36, only a 54-minute sample. And he was better during the season too. So if you did think this game was going to be close, then I think Smart could be an option. Previewing the Nets side of this, I don't really have much to say. Their offense is just stupid. 131.60 rating thanks to 117.1 in half court. That is just insane how effective they are at scoring. Kevin Durant getting contested like a stupid amount on shots over 10 feet. He is contested with tight defense on 11.3 shots per game. That's by far the most in the playoffs. Playing 40 minutes a game when the games are close. We know he's playing a bunch. 70 true shooting, 33 usage rate. Only really not many guys could do that. And yeah, he's just dominating. And we saw Steve Nash said that he wanted to get Kyrie going after that quiet game. So probably expect his usage rate to come down to more than mid-20s after his 30.2 usage rate in Game 4. And then Harden, crazy stat here. He had 18 assists, only on 17 potential assists. So the scorekeeper was friendly to him here. But yeah, he's been running really hot on potential assists. 14.8 potential assists on 10.8 assists per game. Certainly it helps that the Nets just make their shots and they're so freaking good. But yeah, not too much upside for Harden with KD dominating the way he is. And Bruce Brown really filled in on that Jeff Green role with them going smaller. Steve Nash said they'll kind of do that again if they do go small, the Celtics. So probably expecting a decent amount of Bruce Brown. We saw that little screen game he had, the little dunker spot game he's been filling in with. Yeah, Bruce Brown was really effective here. To the great Game 5 coming up with the Blazers and Nuggets, and Mike Malone was really not happy about the effort. Said his starters were, quote, awful in Game 4, and they've been getting worked. They have the worst defense among the 8 lineups with 48 minutes in the playoffs at 122.2 defensive rating. Just really, really bad, while the Blazers' defense has been good. Their starters sitting at a pretty solid 100 defensive rating after they were really good over the season too. They really improved in that area. So I think that the Blazers have a little bit of an edge just from an overall standpoint. Other Malone quotes just really talked about a lack of effort, said that them to have that lack of effort in the playoffs was basically unacceptable. Reading between the lines, certainly got to think that was MPJ. Generally when he talks about stuff like that, it's Porter Jr., but comments from Monday that he expects him and MPJ to kind of get it going. We've seen multiple times both in the bubble this season and previous instances before the bubble where MPJ would just get benched and then next game comes out on fire. But he's not getting good looks. The Blazers have been just awesome at keeping him in check. He's facing tight defense on 3.8 of his 6.0 attempts on threes. Been left wide open on just 0.5 attempts. For a guy that wants to get catch and shoot games going, he can't get it. That Norm Powell, Rocco, they've done a really good job limiting him. So I don't know if he could really bounce back. Maybe that's a famous last words kind of a thing, but not a great spot for him. We know the Joker going to be really busy, 35 usage rate in this matchup. Matching Nurk's minutes with him. Talk about that in a second from the Nurk side. But that's not great for the Joker. He's been just crushing when Nurk is off the court. But on the court, Nurk's done a pretty good job on him overall compared to what other options could be. And the guard rotation kind of been pretty messy. Rivers had a longer leash in the first half, possibly because he was hot. So we'll see if Monte Morris, who's a better player in my opinion, should maybe get a little bit more run here with some time off. They've had a couple of days off, so I expect Monte to be pretty busy. Blazers side, yeah, just a lot of coverage to Damian Lillard, shot 1 of 10, but still got it going offensively with 10 assists to help his teammates out. Stotts was really impressed by that, how he had such a tough night and was still such a leader and assisted. Obviously, Norm was really the hero here, and Norm's been taking advantage of some good matchups here. I expect that to continue. He's been getting a lot of clean looks because so much effort is on Dame. Malone sounded like he wanted to run that heavy Dame coverage again. Just hope his offense is there. And also, Rondae Hollis-Jefferson filled in as Nurk's backup, but Nurk's going to play a bunch. He's probably looking at mid-30s minutes to try to match him on Joker as much as they can. They want to do that. They want to keep Nurk out there for as long as they can. It's been a very clear effort by Terry Stotts. Also mentioned they changed their pick and roll coverages to, quote, more body on body. So we'll see how that affects Facu and some of the ball handlers. Certainly it's all about the Joker. But yeah, we saw CJ get almost 6 minutes of touch time. We saw the assist come up for him for 8 after only topping out at 3 in the previous 3 games. So certainly looks like he's in a pretty good spot. And we know Nurk, getting 18 and 19 first half minutes in the last 2 games. As I mentioned, he could be playing a ton. Had a good usage rate as well, so he could benefit as well. He's going to be a really big factor if the Blazers could take this one. So that's it. Catch you next time.